And he's had his head tattooed several times. And so he's had a couple touch-ups on it. Also, he has had his eyebrows tattooed. And you see it looks very, very natural right now. And what we do want to talk about today is who is a good candidate for this. And number one, a good candidate is somebody that will actually keep his hair cut and blended. And Anthony will tell you that you need to make sure, in order for it to look right and look natural, you need to have it blended properly. So what was your experience in regards to blending it? You finally started to do it, to blend it in yourself, but you do have, how many times do you have to cut it a week?
Yeah, I cut it about 2 to 3 times a week. It depends on what I have going on. Depends on if I want it to be a fresh cut or, but you know, about 2 to 3 times a week. And I used to go to the actual barber themselves, but then I started to learn that I can actually cut it myself. And you know, and it's very simple.
So if you have clippers, bring your clippers. We'll check your clippers, and you know, we'll definitely show you how to cut it right. But if you let it get too long right up in this area where the tattoo is meeting the actual hair, you have to keep that very low.
That's right.
Otherwise it looks dyed, and the color might look a little bit off.
Yeah.
It's just, you have to keep it moisturized. If you don't keep it moisturized, it will get a little bit of a whitish gray film on it, and it will throw the color off.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's important, number one, if you're going to get this done, that you should be able to come back for touch-ups, because if you go gray down the road, if you lose more hair, you know, you'll need to get that touched up.
Yeah, I find it helpful that I come to at least, and that you come at least twice for a touch-up.
Yeah, so you need at least one touch-up, and then after that, it just depends on if you're losing more hair at all. The color of your scalp is a difference. If you're lighter, then it may take an extra session, you know, to get that. If you have a darker scalp, you know, it may, you know, take less of a little bit less on there. Has anybody, how is, you know, people that notice it right now, the comments you might get, tattooing's more popular, so some people might think that you dyed it, some people might think that you tattooed it.
Yeah, I guess some people that think that, you know, if I let it grow, because if I keep it cut, it's never, you know, a big issue. But if I go maybe a week without cutting my hair, then you obviously be able to see that it's growing more so here as opposed to the front end. And so, you know, some people might say, "Oh, is your hair dyed?" But that's because if you don't keep it cut.
Right, so if you're not keeping it cut or moisturized, people might notice something.
Yeah, it's key to keep it moisturized. I moisturize it every day, and you still wash your head too. It's very important that you still wash your head.
So for the aftercare, we'll give you a lotion and a shampoo to use, and you know, we'll wash it nightly and put the moisturizer on it daily.
That's right.
It will flake after you have it done, so you want to make sure you can wear a hat, you know, for a couple days.
You're not supposed to freak out about it.
Right, it's a tattoo.
Right, you're supposed to still do the aftercare. As with the regular tattoo, you would still need to take care of it, moisturize it, shampoo it, do all those things that you need to do. Yeah, a couple of days, you might want to wear a hat, or maybe hopefully it's a weekend that's upcoming, or a week where you don't have to work, you know, maybe 2 or 3 days, where you just let it just heal. Then after it heals, it looks excellent, it looks natural, and then you can begin to cut it and moisturize it, and, you know, do all of those things that you're supposed to do, because it's still upkeep. You still have to upkeep even a short haircut.
Right, you still have to cut it, you still have to moisturize it, you still have to wash it, you know, for it to look nice. And the first time you get it done, you know, it may be a little bit spotty on it. You know, for the guys that want to keep some length on their hair, it's just not, it will not look as natural if you start growing your hair out.
That's right.
So, you know, that's the main thing. If you had a hair transplant with a scar, that scar is going to take longer more sessions because the scar won't hold ink as well. And also sometimes if you've had a hair transplant, you may not even get as good ink retention right up in the area that was transplanted if you have a regular strip scar.
It'd be always be excellent if they were to come here first and get this done first and not even do the hair transplant at all, because part of the reason that I know your business started was to cover up those hair transplants, because you can't cover them up. You have a big old scar or cuts in the back of your head that really don't heal and they don't retain ink. They take it from the front, put it in the back, or take it from the back and put it in the front, and then the ink doesn't stay here, nor does it stay in the scar. You got to come back even more time.
Right, so it requires, if you do get the transplant first and you get a strip scar, then it's just going to take more sessions for you to cover that scar. Now, if you come here, you could always get some FUE, but then it doesn't matter because you still have to keep your hair short.
Yep.
So if you're wanting to grow your hair out a little bit, get a little bit of FUE, at least you won't get that strip scar.
Right.
But if you're going to keep it low, there's no real point in doing that. And but you know, the main thing is that you got to come back for a touch up. You got to keep it cut right. Some guys like it dark, some guys like it more natural. You just have to let us know, and when you come in, we'll draw the hairline on for you, make sure that the hairline is looking good. You know, you'll still want to line it up or have your barber line it up, but it will be a whole lot.
Yeah, and you don't want to bring, if your hairline is naturally, you know, here or even here, you don't want to bring it all the way down.
Right.
You know,
you just want to do something that's natural looking.
Right.
With that. So you see, you know, it's not nearly as dark as Beijing or black ice. You know, it's just a soft, natural color. Unless you want to make it darker,
No,
then
if you
that's
use
up
black
to
ice
you.
or Beijing, it'll be on your pillow. You gotta watch it out. Your hair to itch. This is a permanent solution. You know, the rest of those are short term.
With that, so the main thing is, you know, come back for the touch-ups. Don't panic. You know, if it's not right the first time, because we could always adjust the ink, we could fill in any spots. It does take 2 times, and every person holds the ink different. So, you know, you have to come in for the touch-ups, and you have to cut your hair according to how we say it, or it's just not going to look natural. If you go salt and pepper in the future, you could still put a rinse on your hair or just keep it low. If you start growing it out, it's just going to look salt and pepper. So you're just going to see a lot of gray hairs on there. And, you know, I think that that's good. What I like is that when he got the hairline done a couple of years after he got his eyebrows done, and it goes really good with the hairline. So you don't want to, you know, you're going to get a new hairline and your brows get sparse at the ends right here in the beginning. It just is a fuller look and it blends in the hairline a lot more. Some guys just need the eyebrows and don't need the hairline, and some need both, but it's important to look at the whole picture where you're framing your face and you're looking at the eyebrows too. So I think that you have to be, it's not a one-time solution, yet it's not an everyday type of maintenance that you do on there. So you've had it done for a number of years, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it's been, let's say 4 years.
Yeah.
It's been about 4 years.
The ink still looks good. You know, it's still a nice color. And
I've come back and gotten it touched up purely just because I wanted to.
But you didn't even need it really touched up that much.
No, I might want it just a little bit darker here or, you know, there, you know, but you decide what happens with your hair. So, you know, that's
yeah, it's up to you. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people want crisper hairlines, some people want more natural, but we could do, you know, whatever. And we do tend to focus more on darker skin tones, African American skin tones. That's just what we specialize in. So I know some of the companies do all skin tones, and our specialty is more the hairlines, Afro-textured hair. It is a different type of tattooing, a different type of aftercare. So we just have chosen to specialize in that.
It's always best to have a specialty.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's way when you leave, you have a good hairline. You know how to take care of your hair. You know, we teach you about the barbering aspect of it, the maintenance, because it's all in a package. You don't want to just tattoo your head and then not know how to take care of it down the road. It's still maintenance. You still have to, and we're here. You have an issue with it a couple years down the road, you know, just let us know.
That's right. That's right.
Well, good. Well, thank you very much. It looks really good. And your eyebrows look great. I like those eyebrows. Yep. Now for the aftercare, after you get it done, it is a whole lot darker than it will be. And we'll give you the lotion. You use your lotion 2 times a day, just a pea amount. That tube should last you a good 6 months. With that, you put it on, and then you shampoo it every night for at least the next 30 days, and that will help it slough off naturally. It could crack, it could disappear, it could look pinky, whitey, grayish, you know, it just depends. So you need to be prepared to wear a hat for a couple days afterwards. And
you're speaking of right after you tattoo it.
Yeah, right after we tattoo it, 4 days, you know, after, when it starts to flake. It usually flakes within the first few weeks. You may need to wear a hat during that time if it's looking really flaky, but don't panic, because everybody's going to heal different. Some people will crack, some people just magically lighten up, other people it chunks off and it looks like you did something wrong, but you didn't do anything wrong. Now this is after it's been healed. So this is not as dark as it normally will look. It normally fades out a lot. And then after 3 days, you could cut your hair. So you'll be able to cut your hair after 3 days. Just use sterile clippers. If you use your own clippers, make sure that we've adjusted them for you, that you use the clipper cleaner, and that you cut your hair according to our instructions. Then after a couple of weeks, it will be sloughed off, and after 6 weeks, any color adjustments, spots, anything that you have, we'll be able to take care of. Now, you can do it after 6 weeks, you just can't do it before 6 weeks. And then we want you to send us photos after your haircuts for after the next month. And just remember, if you're going to get this done, that you come back for the touch-up and don't panic, and that you're prepared to wear a hat or a do-rag right after, during the healing process. But the maintenance on it is making sure your hair's cut right, making sure that you send us pictures so we can make sure your haircut's right. The haircut is very important.
And if you have clippers, it's always good to have them, adjust them, look at them, because I was cutting my hair a certain way for a long time. I wasn't cutting it right. So I found out that if I listen to them, I can shorten how many times a week or a month that I have to shave and cut my hair.
Right, so it's just important to keep in touch with us. If you have your own barber, have them contact us so we can let them know how to cut it, because the cutting and the blending is important. If you're thinking that it's looking off, chances are your head isn't moisturized, it's too dry, it's not cut right. There's a lot of regular maintenance types of issues and hair cutting issues that if you follow and you contact us, we can let you know how to make it look better. If it's cut too long, it's just gonna not look right. So make sure you're keeping in touch with us, and just because it's tattooed, don't decide you want to grow your hair back out again, because it's just not, it's an illusion. The shorter you keep it, the thicker it's gonna look. So you just want to be prepared for the aftercare, prepared for the healing on it, and be prepared to upkeep it.
That's right.
Yeah, so I think that that's basically what you need to do for the aftercare. And the only thing to be aware of is if it gets oozy at all, let us know. But dryess and flakiness, that's normal. And if you use too much of the Proline or too much of the moisturizer, then it will not be that great for you. So just make sure you follow the instructions and just use a few drops.